Hello everyone, Jim Biringer here, NHLRumors.com. Please subscribe to the channel. Like this video, comment below. We're talking about the Winter Olympics, and I'm live from the NHL Winter Classic. I'm donning last year's Winter Classic hat. There'll be a new one this year down in South Florida. Can't wait for the game tonight, but we're going to talk about the Olympics. The rosters have been announced for Team Canada and Team USA. Everybody wants to talk about who didn't make it. So let's join in and I'll party on who didn't make it. Let's start Team USA. Let's start off first. No Cole Caulfield, no Jason Robertson on the team, no Lane Hudson as well. Interesting that Bill Guerin continued to go with the roster he had at Four Nations. Also, no defenseman Adam Fox from the New York Rangers, and we know Mike Sullivan is the head coach of the team. Assistant GM is Chris Drury. But the perception of Adam Fox was he didn't have a great tournament. There's been this Adam Fox hate narrative going on. Not saying he's an elite defenseman anymore. And look what happens. He's playing well for the Rangers this year, despite the team being bad yet again. The team was bad last year too, but his performance in the Four Nations kind of hurt him. And this team was determined last year, and Bill Guerin talked about it. He had to play better. It's not like there was anything he didn't do, but his performance really affected it. The narrative, players played their way off. Other guys stepped up. Congratulations, Seth Jones of the Florida Panthers, for being on the team. He makes it. He takes his spot. Zach Werenski's there, obviously. Brock Faber, Charlie McAvoy, guys like that. But it's interesting talking with scouts, and as I've written some things and talked about some things on TSN 690. Talking with some scouts, Team USA lost by goals at Four Nations to Team Canada. You leave top five goal scorer and Jason Robertson off. Leave a top 10 goal scorer and Cole Caulfield off. Yes, Clayton Keller and Tage Thompson are there. Both probably should have been on a Four Nations roster, who helped Team USA win at the World Championships. But you look at it and you say, why is JT Miller there? Again, he's not having the best of seasons. He's hurt. He's not going to play in the Winter Classic. However, Bill Guerin wants to build the team a certain way. Then why is Jack Hughes there? Still injured. If you saw the pictures, his hand is still braced up. He's still wearing a brace when he plays. Is he 100%? Will he be 100% by the tournament? He didn't have a great Four Nations. So there are some questionable decisions by Team USA's management. They're trying to win a certain way, but can all these guys accept roles? Yeah, Dylan Larkin, great ad. Like, that's a good player. But Austin Matthews, the Kachuk brothers, like Jack Eichel, there's talent on this team, but there's a lot of questionable decisions by management. It felt like they made up their minds in the summer. They made up their minds after Team USA won gold at the World Championships. And there's going to be a lot of talking points about if they don't win and if they don't score, but they grind games out. That doesn't. It's not a recipe for success. They bring the best players, and yeah, maybe Caulfield, Hudson, Fox are on a short list if guys are injured. Brock Nelson is there as well. They're very heavy. They're trying to play a certain style. Very surprised to see no Matthew Knies either. He's having a good season for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he's that Bill Guerin type player. Jack Hughes isn't, and I'm not trying to beat up on Jack Hughes. He's going to play with his brother. Hey, the narrative is alive. The Hughes brothers get to play together, just not on the Devils. It'll be with Team USA. And like I said, it was never going to be with the Devils in all the videos that we've done. Devils never had the assets to make it happen, but the Hughes brothers get to play together. So that's going to be a watch. That should be fun. Maybe they'll be on the same line together. You never know. See, work that magic. But Team USA is going to go work from the back out. Their forward group is good, but is it good enough? How healthy is Matthew Tkachuk? How healthy is Austin Matthews? Their back end is really good and really loaded. Their goaltending, Hellebuck, Swayman, Ottinger is the same from Four Nations. Does Hellebuck get the full tournament? He hasn't looked great since coming back from knee surgery. Very interested to see what Team USA looks like under Mike Sullivan. Didn't think he coached the best tournament. Left out Kyle Connor in the gold medal game when you need a goal. Yeah, Connor didn't have the greatest tournament, but he was on the third and fourth line. He's a top six player for the Winnipeg Jets. He's on the first line. He can score goals. Do they make questionable coaching decisions? Again, Quinn Hughes being there is going to be huge. But again, let's see what other injuries happen along the way. We just saw Bo Horvat for Team Canada, who was named to Team Canada. He's off. He could be off. He's injured right now with the New York Islanders. He just got hurt against Utah the other day. But no Sam Bennett, no Connor Bedard, no Zach Hyman for Team Canada. Very interesting decisions. Tom Wilson is on. No Mark Scheifele as well. Big sticking points, especially with Bennett, a guy who's won the Conn Smythe Trophy for the Florida Panthers last year in the playoffs. But again, Doug Armstrong talked about, well, no one played their way off. Well, Sam Bennett did. If you watch the Florida Panthers from the start of the season, he did not have a good season. He's picked his game up recently, but he didn't have a strong start to the year as the number one center for the Florida Panthers with Alexander Barkov hurt. And Anton Lundell's really stepped up, and he's really been the 1C for this team. They can flip flop him. Bennett's moved down sometimes in the lineup. So sometimes performances matter. And Team USA, Team Canada made some decisions based on performance. Macklin Celebrini's on the team. Connor Bedard isn't. Connor Bedard's hurt. And I think that was the out for Team Canada to say, well, we can't bring both guys. Because I think both guys would have been there. And both guys should have been there because Bedard is the most valuable player to the Blackhawks. If you look at them now, they're shelling themselves. No Frankie Nazar for Team USA either. But very interested to see what happens to, you know, Team Canada in this tournament. I mean, they still have a good team. Tom Wilson's there. Sam Bennett would have been redundant. And, you know, the goaltending, Logan Thompson's there, Darcy Kemper along with Jordan Binnington. The defense is pretty much the same for Four Nations. So, again, they've made a couple of tweaks and mentioned it earlier on TSN 690 in Montreal back in August on one of my appearances. They're representing this fine outlet as well as others. That when I was asked about the tournament and the rosters, look, they're probably going to pick one, if not both guys, Bedard and Celebrini. But I did say that Nick Suzuki was going to be on the team, which he is, which he's been the hottest player in the National Hockey League since Four Nations last year when he was snubbed by Team Canada. I know they won, but he was snubbed. And everybody points to Anthony Cirelli and Braden Point. You know why they're on the team. Same with Brandon Hagel. You know why they're on the team. John Cooper's the coach. He had major input, and he likes those guys. He won Stanley Cups with a couple of those players. So you look at it. Nick Suzuki, great, leads goals, assists, points, great two-way player. And now with Philip Deneau in Montreal, it's taking a lot of burden off him with the penalty kill. He plays penalty kill too, but you're seeing his offensive ability now come to shine. And since he's been named to Team Canada, he's been on fire. So it's a good ad for him. Tom Wilson, I had a feeling he would be on this team. He continues his stellar play. Again, borderline player when it comes to hits and being a quote unquote dirty player. But those are the type of guys you win with at the Olympics. And again, the goaltending. Again, recent appearance on TSN 690 was asked about Logan Thompson, was asked about Darcy Kemper. I had them on the team because the other guys played themselves off. Montembeault plays themselves off. Aiden Hill's injured. We didn't know when they were coming back. So you had to go with those guys. Could have gone with Scott Wedgwood. Could have gone with Mackenzie Blackwood. But those were the guys that they had on the team, and they earned their way on. So again, you look at who didn't make it more so than who did make it because that's the guys, and they're difficult decisions to make, as Mike Sullivan said during the press conference on Thursday when it came to Adam Fox. And it's going to be interesting to watch that relationship between those two and what goes on further down the lineup when it comes to Fox, the Rangers, Drury, that whole dynamic. But you have to congratulate the players that made it. You have to now figure out the line combinations. Again, difficult decisions. It's January 2nd. The Canadian team was named New Year's Eve. There's still a lot of time between now and the start of the Olympics. And what does the rink look like? Where are they playing? Like, we're waiting on a test event. We're waiting on the ice. Derek King's over there with the ice crew working on the ice. The building is starting to come together. But what about the ice sheet? Is the condition safe enough for these players? We're going to get a double IHF test event coming up. We'll hear more about that. But if it goes well, if it doesn't, well, it could be crickets and people will be digging information to find out what happened. If you look at it, though, Team USA, Team Canada, pretty much similar teams that they brought to Four Nations. The Swedes are loaded. Finns are loaded. Yes, no Barkov, but man, that's a good team. They only brought one non-NHL player with them on defense. Let's see what some of these other rosters look like as well, because best on best, but is it truly best on best when some of the best players are being left home? Again, what is said is one thing, perception is another thing, and the perception for some of these players where they didn't perform well on the big stage, they didn't perform well during the season, that's why they got left off. But some of the big snubs, Not sure why you didn't bring Cole Caulfield or Jason Robertson, but again, Garen wanted a certain style of player. Could the height be an issue? Size, everything, two-way game. Cole Caulfield plays a good two-way game for the Montreal Canadiens and Martin St. Louis. He's going to be motivated. You look at Sam Bennett, his play, you got to feel bad for them. Again, Sam Reinhart and Brad Marchand made the team. Congratulations to them, especially a guy like Marchand who has earned his way on this team. And Sidney Crosby, again, continues to do Sidney Crosby things. Canada, just you have this feeling that they could do it again with NHLers. But it's going to be tough because the divisions and the groups are loaded, and everybody wants to point to who didn't make the team. And we did it here. But you look at the rosters now, this is who you're taking potentially, barring injury. Let's see how good these guys click together because sometimes all-star teams don't play well if teams and players don't buy into systems. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at the Winter Olympics. But here are the big snubs from Team USA and Team Canada here for NHLRumors.com live from the Winter Olympics. Jim Biringer, guys, like this video, subscribe, comment below on who you think should have been on Team Canada and Team USA, and why not the other nations as well. Guys, take care and enjoy.